We are very happy to have another member of our topic expert group and a psychologist. She's Sari Ahlqvist-Björkroth. She's a doctor in psychology and a researcher at the university and a university lecturer at the University of Turku. And her focus has been parent-infant psychotherapy and also influences of the environmental and psychosocial factors on parent-infant relationships. And of course, one of the key founders of the close collaboration with parents training program. And I think this is very applaudable because few researchers actually take the effort it takes to make a program, supportive program. So thank you very, very much for all your work, and thank you for your contribution in this standards project, and also for coming today. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Björn, for your kind words. It's really a pleasure to be here, although it feels odd in a way that I'm sitting here and you all are sitting in all over the world. So this is really a new concept for all of us. But I have to congratulate Björn and Stina being so brave and taking this step to keep this virtually, the whole Congress, that it's really, with the short notice, it's amazing work. Thank you for organizing this. And thanks for Björn for inviting me in to the standard work with the EFC and I. It has been really important part of the work, and thanks for whole our team working on this standard, which is about clinical consultation and supervision for healthcare professionals on supporting families. And of course, I have to thank the EFCNI team for the whole initiative and how Silke presented today. We know that it's not it's not a small work they have done before we are here at today. So I hope you can see my slides well now. And as I said, that it feels funny that you are all over the world, so I wanted to tell where I am to you. So I'm working in Turku, Finland. That's my workplace, but as everybody now is working from home and taking care of their part of not spreading the coronavirus more, so I'm working from home also, and the picture down in the right is where I am now in an island, like outside in the Turku region. And my content of my talk today is about statement, the whole standard, about the statement and the rationale behind of it. And I go through the components of the standards also, and some forms that what the consultation and supervision could be in this context. And then we talk about the benefits and some concluding remarks. And then I also have delivered some polls for you to answer related to this issue. So first of all, I would like to go back to the history for a short while, because often by the history helps us to understand where we are today. And the Western neonatal care has gone through a huge change during last decades. And starting from the very professional-centered care, where the focus of the care has been solely the infant and the infant's well-being, and transitioning towards that we are involving parents into the care of the infant. And these pictures below here, they are from Finland, all of them, and most of them from the Turku University Neonatal Unit. And the picture where the year 2000 is below is describing that phase on that unit when the parents were more involved in the care, but still they were placed in the big rooms open bay rooms, and they didn't have own place in the unit. And currently, the phase is that families have their own rooms where they are living home kind of life, and the professionals are the visitors in those rooms. And that requires a lot more negotiation and communication between the professional and the staff, and also by that the parents have become a team, really the members of the care team. So so I think that this change tells us that new skills are required in the work of the doctors and nurses and other specialists who are working with the families in the NICU. And therefore, they are in the need of education, but I would also say that in the need of support as well in the facing new challenges and new situation in their daily work with the families. So some research findings to show how parents, for example, experience the communication with the NICU healthcare professionals. By that I mean both nurses and doctors and other professionals as well. So parents have stated that empathetic attitude from the part of the staff is the key factor on their experience about the communication with the NICU professionals. So, but how to impact attitudes of the NICU staff? That sounds abstract and difficult, but please keep in your mind the word attitude. We will come back to that when we go further in this presentation. Also, it's very strongly shown that the good relationship between parents and healthcare professionals impacts on parents' relationship with their baby, parents' feeling of inclusion to the healthcare team of their baby, and parent satisfaction with the neonatal care. You may have heard that sometimes people are using the word gatekeepers, and that sounds a bit negative, but I think that if we can see it from the positive perspective, it's the ones who can facilitate and make the relationship possible and make it more stronger. And then if we move to the side of the healthcare professionals, how they experience the provision of the emotional support to the parents. So one nice Irish study mapped how healthcare professionals are thinking about the emotional support provision. 90% of them experienced the emotional support as a one core part of the working role. Although they also showed that the work experience increased perceived competence in this, but not confidence about talking with parents about their emotional experiences. And I think that the one nice example of this lack of confidence is coming from a paper done by Anna Axelin and the other researchers from that group, where they observed medical round communication and found that when infant condition was critical, professionals were concerned that the parents would become too emotional and maybe break down during the medical round, and that could lead to the chaos and were unsure about how to deal with the emotional expressions of parents, or whether really comfort them or really ask that how they are doing with this situation, but like maybe more like leaving it there and withdrawing from the situation. But of course, anybody would need skills on that kind of situation to provide the needed support. And then I think that what was interesting in this study from Ireland was that healthcare professionals, they reported that treating and caring infants in the NICU was emotionally stressful for them. So, and almost all of the persons who answered this study experienced so. So I think that is something to keep in mind as well. But however, in the same study, because I was interested about the ways how to support the medical staff, I found this sentence, what is here in a purple color, that the least preferred setting was formal supervision for support, and the most preferred setting was informal one-to-one meeting. So this was very interesting to me, and I would like to further understand this issue, that what is really the preferable way of receiving support. So another, if those results which I just presented were from 2 units, like the individual units, so there are also studies which have done in larger amount of units, which one is called International Closeness Survey, delivered by SEEN Research Group. And here are people also who have been participating in this study, like Björn and Rosario Monterosso, and maybe some others as well are listening. So in this study, parents and staff members were asked to rate they received and given emotional support daily basis, so that they got a set of 7 random questions, where one was related to emotional support. And by this method, the researchers got a good idea of the unit culture related to emotional support, not just single experiences. So the parents actually rated the emotional support as one of the lowest 3 scores in 11 units by mothers, and in 7 units by the fathers. And the nurses, they also gave most often the lowest score in the emotional support, meaning that they felt that they didn't deliver or provide emotional support during that work shift for the parents. I think that there are several reasons why the emotional support is felt like difficult, or people are feeling like lack of skills giving emotional support, or not confident in it. I think that if we put it in the historical perspective, we start to understand more what is happening. And I think that before the transition of the care to becoming more family-centered care, it hasn't been the core component or core competence of NICU staff to give emotional support for the parents. So probably not the education for doctors and nurses haven't consisted education for this part. And I would like you to now think about, for example, own background education, that how much you have received education for giving emotional support, or even for the communication skills. We will come back to that. So back to the standards and the main component of the standards. So what we came up with was that parents, of course, they should receive psychosocial, and if they want, also pastoral support during the stay in the NICU. And also the team, the healthcare team professionals are really core providers of the support and sensitive interaction with the parents. And what that could be in the healthcare professionals level, it could be a unit guidelines about that how people should or can participate to supervision or counseling, and education provided for the whole team about family support strategies, and also regular supervision available, and especially related to that kind of so-called difficult situations where there are critical decision-making situation or pregnant situation where you have to be the ones who are helping the families to go through the loss of their baby, for example. And in the unit level, it could be a unit guideline that is also related to that how staff is getting supported. That could be available, that everybody knows, and regularly, of course, updated as well. And then a good unit guideline also about communication and support. And when I was listening today, Silke and Mandy, thank you for them for sharing their story. It was really, really meaningful to hear your perspective. And I think that we didn't really emphasize that much that what is really the parents need. They need help and support to on their way becoming parents. So it's not only about debriefing and trauma and bereavement. Those are of course important and they require special skills, but also supporting attachment and bonding and becoming a parent requires special skills. So that should be emphasized in this standard better than it has been. So for hospital level, the hospital should provide education for the staff and support for the healthcare professionals. So these two words seems to pump up all the time and are the core things that I think that are helping the professionals to in their well-being and developing their skills. So for health services in a kind of on a national level, we could also have like the associations, doctors and nurses associations could create guidelines related to supervision and counseling, and more also delivering knowledge that what it really is. And I think that the continuing professional development also after basic education should include these two issues very much. So what could be the further development in this field or under this standard is that the units could implement quality improvement projects related to emotional support and communication, and they could also monitor frequently that how they are really doing auditing in their own unit, and asking from the parents that how they are getting supported, and based on that feedback develop their own practices. And for the hospital level, I think that we could also have career development programs for healthcare professionals to become really practice development experts and debriefing facilitators and clinical supervisors. Often the supervisors are coming from the NICU, out from the NICU context, as I have myself done. But I think that if we would have more clinical supervisors who would have a background of neonatal nurse or neonatal doctor, that would be really important addition to the supervision or provided supervision. So then I picked it up some ideas from the standard about how to get started. So we could ask feedback from the parents. Today we heard how capable the parents are giving us feedback, and how easy for us is to understand what is important for them when we hear it that in their voice when they are telling that to us. And of course we need training, but I also think that we would need training is maybe a wrong word here. It's more like education on counseling and clinical supervision. I have my own experience that sometimes supervision is not quite understood in a right way. That it is like that if I'm not, it's based on that if I need it, or if I have difficult times, or if I'm not like handling my work, then I would need supervision. But I think that it's more like for everybody who works with the parents and infants and around their relationship and supporting their relationship, that's always needed, because there are some factors that are very emotional, can touch our own issues in a way that makes it very complex for us to support them, or that is making us like increasing our own emotional burden. So then we need some place where we can get loaded, energized again, and heard and understood. So it's more like that. To stay fit, you have to exercise. So to stay fit as a supporter of emotional supporter, you should get supervision and support. So one way to get started would be the auditing, in doing an audit in your own unit, which I already mentioned, and also established team inside, a specialized team inside your unit who have a special focus on developing staff skills on communication and collaboration and parent support. So now I'm wondering how much time I have left, but Stina, can you give me some understanding?
Yes, I thought that you should get until 1:15, so
okay,
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, thank you. No. So something about the forms of consultation and supervisions, which I have mentioned here several times. So the debriefing or counseling can be like a case-based one-off session, that is a one time, is after special special event or happening in a unit, or with family that you have some difficulties to understand or get a common understanding with, or something like that, which is based on that something difficult has happened. But the supervision is usually progress and of several meetings that are scheduled advanced and enables different kind of things than just this kind of case-based sessions. So we come back to the attitudes, and communication and collaboration skills are strongly related to individual attitudes and values. And if we could have a place where we could safely study our own attitudes and values related to parenthood, parenting, mothering, fathering, bonding, whatsoever, which are often very individually loaded things. So that kind of a supervision could be called reflective supervision, which is a technique that enables us to be like a mindful related to our own feelings, own attitudes and values, and also by that enables us to be mindful for parents' feelings and thoughts and fears and hopes related to their parenting and parent-child relationship. So, so I think that being really listened to and heard yourself, you are able to also listen to better and be more empathetically understanding towards others. So that's basically what the reflective supervision is about. So the case-based, I already mentioned that, is more like debriefing situation. And of course, that also provides emotional support for the staff members. And especially, I think that it offers a nice possibility to analyze the communication between the team members, the healthcare team members, and of course, between the healthcare team and the parents as well. And that could be one, like even without any difficulties, you could have that kind of consultations and supervisions. And then, of course, it enables a wider professional understanding if the supervisor represents a certain profession where they can deliver more understanding from that perspective, like a psychological well-being of parents, or parenting, or parent-infant relationship, and then it can also increase the knowledge of the neonatal staff members. So the regular consultation, I think that this might be the most used or existing way of getting support in the NICU, that there is a regular person, a counselor, psychologist or social worker or priest, or who is somehow integrated into the healthcare team, is probably providing direct emotional support for the parents, but also works with the healthcare team as well. And then again, we come to the regular clinical supervision, is especially clinical, not only related to relationship inside the organization, for example, not like focusing on organizational supervision, but really focusing on the clinical work and being and supporting the healthcare professionals' work on that way. And I think that having these kind of facilities available for the staff would decrease the emotional burden from the work, the important work that they are doing. The benefits are several. I would say that these are the ones that we collected for the standards. It's improved staff self-efficacy in supporting parents. So I think this is very important, that you have professional tools to support parents. Of course, many of us are like naturally empathetic and able to create good relationship with people, but I think that in professional life we should have also professional tools to do that, which is a different and decreases also the emotional burden of being emotionally supportive. So it reduces emotional stress for healthcare professionals related to supporting parents. It improves work satisfaction, and thereby it improves the quality of care and even reaching the support of the parents is better, and that's supporting better the bonding and so on. And I would be very interested to see more studies around this topic, more systematic studies showing that whether this kind of actions like regular supervisions, for example, would decrease the staff turnover, which we thought that it would make. And also, I go to my concluding remarks that I just heard very good talk by Terry Inder in the Craven's conference about the burnout rates in the NICUs, and I was really shocked about the frequencies. And I think that also speaks about that it's important, it's really, really important to support the supporters and take care of their well-being and give them, of course, skills, but not only ending to the education. So thank you for having this possibility to share these ideas with you all.
Thank you very much, Sari. Very, very, very important that you mentioned we need professional support. We might all think that we are very good in supporting parents, but I'm sure the psychologists could and social workers could definitely improve our skills, competence. Stina, should I launch the polling now, or?
Yes, this is Sari's poll.
8 and 9?
Yes, first 8, I think.
8, yes. So we have tried to do polling of this very complex area, of course, so it might not be easy to reply. But the first question, does your NICU have supervision available for the healthcare professionals? The second question, does your NICU have consultation on emotional support and communication available for the healthcare professionals? And thirdly, do you think that existing staff support is enough to meeting the communication and emotional challenges in your daily work with families? Do you think that the existing staff support in your unit is enough for meeting the communication and emotional challenges in your daily work? think that was the third. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been saying a few times now that we are so many people from many different places of the world, and I will just show you where we are from, all of us gathered here today. We are from at least 32 countries with 130 attending participants that has been joining the webinar at any given moment. We are now a few less, 107, but that is a lot. And registered was 350 participants from 42 different countries. So somewhere between 32 and 42 different countries in the world are represented here today.
Fantastic. So have you had time to reply on this question, these three questions? I think actually we have approximately half of the attendees are voted. So due to the time constraint, maybe we should continue to the next one. Is that okay? Yeah. So I end this poll and I share the results. And maybe, Sari, you could comment on this.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, very interesting. I see that almost half of the units who have replied here have, or persons who have replied have supervision or counseling or consultation available. But surprisingly, it seems that it's not really enough. That it's the 80% of people are experiencing that what is available is not enough for them. And this may be the most important message for us at the moment, that we have to try to find together with the staff that what are the best possible ways to support them.
Yes, and that shows how important your lecture was, actually. Thank you very, very much. And I think we have another next question or poll questions. Just one. Does your NICU or the NICU in your area have mental health service available for the parents? Sorry, could you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that this is a more familiar situation for me on those NICUs where I have been worked more closely with, or with those, that there are quite good systems available for the support, mental health support for the parents. Either that the mental health supporters comes to the unit and meet the parents, or the parents has a referral to a unit where they can get the mental health support. So this is very good, and I think that this is also needed. But yeah, we still have to improve our ways to support the staff members.
Yeah, to avoid emotional fatigue and burnout. Thank you very much.
Yeah.